I'm here with Wednesday's maths lesson. Let's get started with the starter task. Right, so this starter, let me get it on the screen so it's a bit bigger. So it says, Scaramouche is thinking of a number. Can you work out from the clues above, well, all around, so can you work out from the clues what the number is? And also, what is the smallest number of clues you will need to identify this number? I will read the clues out. You will then need to pause the video and you will need to work out what the number is. I've had a go myself. When I had a go, I worked around the clues in order. I went clockwise. I don't think you really need to do that. So you could jumble it up because that might help you to work out the smallest number that you need. So clue 1. When this number is divided by 5, the remainder is 2. So that means that when you divide by 5, it doesn't work and you have 2 left over. For example, if you do 18 divided by 5, you get 3 with a remainder of 3. So that number doesn't help you with this problem. I'm just helping you explain, helping you understand what remainder means. The other clue, when this number is divided by 6, the remainder is 2. If you add 8 to this number, you will get a multiple of 10. When this number is divided by 3, the remainder is 2. The digits used to make this 2-digit number add up to 11. Pause the video, have a go, don't just skip this because there are lots of words. Have a try, persevere, get your piece of paper, start jotting down some numbers and see if they fit the clues. Off you go. I'm now going to reveal the answer. So, at first when I did this, I thought the answer was 32. And 32 was meeting all of the clues until I got to clue 5. Then I knew it was wrong because clue 5 said that the digits add up to 11 and 3 add 2 is 5, not 11. So then I sort of scaled up my number and I got the answer 92. Then just to make sure, I tried 92 with all of the clues and it worked. So I was satisfied. Now, thinking about it, I didn't actually check if there are any other possibilities, so please let me know if you've got a different number which works. And I didn't actually work out the answer to the fewest number of clues, so I'd be really interested if you can let me know what is the fewest number of clues that you could have had to solve that. Let me know. Now, yesterday and the day before, we were looking at fraction and decimal equivalents. And yesterday I told you the key fraction and decimal equivalents that you need to know off by heart. So I said that it's a long-term goal that you need to just practice them now and again. And when someone says to you, what's 1/5 as a decimal? You need to just say, that's 0.2. And we looked at money to help us. So when we talked about 1/5, we talked about that means you're dividing a pound into 5 equal parts. And that would mean that you would get 5 20p's. So I know that 1/5 is 0.2. I always think of 20p, and that helps me. Okay, same for 1/4. If I divide a pound into 4 equal parts, I get 25p. So I know that the decimal for 1/4 is 0.25. Which fraction's bigger? 1/5 or 1/4? Think about money. Look at the decimals on the screen. Which is bigger? Okay, 1/4 is bigger because 1/4 has 5/100ths more than 1/5. And thinking of money, 25p is more than 20p. A common error in school would be that someone would say that, actually I'm not going to go into that now, I'll come back to it another time. Right, let's move on. I've got an activity. Have a good look at the key facts because I am going to take them off screen in a moment and then I'm going to give you a mini test and see how many you remember and then you'll know which ones you've got to focus on. Right, so on your piece of paper write down the letters. I am going to say a fraction, and then you need to write down the correct decimal equivalent. It's only a bit of fun, so don't panic. At the end, you will know which ones you remembered already and which ones you need to practice. Let's have a go. A. 1/4. Write down 1/4 as a decimal. B. 1/10 as a decimal. C. 2/10 as a decimal. D. 2/4 as a decimal. Remember, you can think of equivalents as well. So when I said 2/4, I'm hoping that you thought half. On C, when I said 2/10, I'm hoping that you also thought 1/5. E. 1/100. F. 1/3. G. 1/8. H. 2/5 or 4/10. I'm now going to reveal the answers on the screen so you can mark your answers. Then you will know if you're confident with any of them already, and you will know which ones you need to practice some more. So if you got some of them wrong, no worries. We're going to practice some more today anyway with some of the activities that will help you learn. Here are the answers. Remember that F, some mathematicians, well, the correct way to write this would be 0.3 with a dot above it, because that means it's recurring. Because I could have written thousands and thousands of threes to infinity, because that's what 1/3 means. Okay? How did you do? Let me know on Teams afterwards if you'd like to. Did it help you by thinking of equivalent fractions? I know that when I said 2/4, some of you may have thought, well, I don't know what 2/4 is. I don't know what 1/4 is. But then when I said half, I think some of you might have gone, oh, I know what half is. That's 0.5. Okay, let's carry on. So here are some number lines to visualise the fraction decimal equivalents. So we can see the first one shows us counting 0, a half, 2/2, so that's a whole. This one we've got 0, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. Notice how the half and the 2/4 are exactly the same point, as well as 5/10, because they are equivalent. Here we've got 0, 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 5/5. Notice that's quite simple, isn't it? We're just sort of counting up, aren't we, in ones really, but we're keeping the denominator the same. And the line has been divided into equal parts. Okay, we've got 1/10, 2/10, 3/10. I'm not going to carry on. Okay, but you see, each part is worth the same, and it goes up in steps, and that will help you with your decimal equivalents. So you can see on the screen that I've covered up the decimal equivalents. I want you to see if you can count on these number lines, but not saying the fractions. I want you to go 0. I want you to count, so you need to say it aloud. Okay? I am now going to reveal on screen the starting point for each of the number lines. Obviously 0 is the starting point, but I'm going to reveal the first or the next box on each number line. So you may want to look at that. I'm going to reveal that now. Okay. So the half one's done for you because a half only has two parts. So it's 0, 0.5, 1. Okay. The quarters is straightforward because we know that 2 quarters is the same as a half. So you've only got to work out what this one is. If you get stuck, think about money. Okay, so here, a half of a pound is 50p. So you've got 0.5, so 50p, add 25p. So what's the decimal equivalent for 3 quarters? Okay, same down here, we've got 20p. Okay, count up. Same value each time. Think about money, it's helpful. And the decimal equivalents are always the same. So 3 quarters will always be, it won't ever change. That's the decimal equivalent. Pause the video, have a go. Right, I'm now going to reveal, so we're going to see if you got it right. Oh, didn't. I need to drag it on the screen. Hang on. Right, so we've got 0, 0.25, 0.5, 0.75. Okay, so you need to know these decimal equivalents off by heart, really. And I think if you understand what they mean as well, it just makes more sense to you. Okay, so if someone says, what's 3 quarters? You need to say 0.75. Next one, 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, and a whole. Okay, it's like saying 20p, 40p, 60p, 80p. So if somebody says to you, what's 3/5 of the decimal, please? You're going to say, no problem, 0.6. What's 2/5? Well, that's 0.4. Okay, you just need to learn these facts. Next one, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, a whole, 1. Okay, look at the screen. Use the number lines to answer my questions. Which fraction is bigger? 4/5 or 3/4? The answer is 4/5. Okay, I can see that 4/5 is further along the line than 3/4. Also, I know that 0.8 is like 80p and 3/4 is like 75p. So it's like 5p difference, which is 5/100ths of a difference. One more question. Which is bigger, 1/4 or 3/10? And how much? What's the difference? Exactly. Okay, I can see that 3/10 is bigger than 1/4, and the difference is again 5/100ths. It's like 5p more, isn't it? 30p, 25p. So these decimal equivalents you need to learn, so you need to practice. Okay, and the more activities we do, the better you're going to be. Let me go back on screen. So, next task. So at the top, I have placed the key fraction and decimal equivalents that we've been looking at. So 1/4 is 0.25, 1/5 is 0.2, 1/10 is 0.1. Okay, and yesterday we just focused on unit fractions. We just focused on fractions where the numerator is always a 1. Today we're going to look at, so non-unit fractions. I would like you to write down the decimal equivalents for each of these fractions. I'll do one with you. So 3/5. You might remember this from the previous page. It might already be in your head. But if it's not in your head, you need to be able to work it out. So go back to the key facts up here. Right, so I know that 3/5, I'm going to look at 1/5. If 1/5 is worth 0.2, I need 3 lots of 0.2. Okay, so I could go right 0.2, 0.4, 0.6. It's got to be 0.6. That's one way. Another way is thinking about money. Okay, that means I need 3 lots of 20p. So 20p, 40p, 60p. But when you think of money, you've still got to remember to write it as a decimal, so 0.6. Go down these now. If you get stuck, look at the key facts at the top, use them to help you, okay, because you should be able to work them out. Or go back to the number lines. Pause the video and complete this. Right, I'm now going to reveal the answers, so pause if you've not finished. Here we go. Oh, look, I can see 0.8 was the same answer for both 4/5 and 8/10. What does that mean? They are equivalent. They're equivalent fractions. They are the same. They have the same value. I can see that I put the same question twice. I thought I was being clever, but no, it's the same. Okay, so you need to remember that some fractions have the same decimal because if you look at it, 4/5 is the simplified version of 8/10. Okay, right, I wonder how you got on. Let's see. Now, other way around this time. On screen I've put some decimals up. I would like you to write down the equivalent fraction. Now, remember that you could write many fractions in this box because we have, equivalent fractions. So I'm looking at 0.6 and I'm thinking, right, that links to the 1/10. How many tenths are the same as 0.6? 6/10. But I'm also thinking that links to the fifths. How many fifths do I need for 0.6? 3/5. So you could write 3/5 and 6/10 because they're equivalent. Pause the video and complete the fraction side this time. Okay, I'm going to reveal the answers. How did you do? I'm really looking forward to seeing your work afterwards. Okay, look at this one. You need to put the correct symbol in between. So, less than, greater than, equal to. Which symbol goes in between these? 0.6, 4/5. Are they the same? Is one worth more than the other? Maybe make them both decimals so you can compare them, or make them both fractions. What do you think? I'm going to reveal the answer, so pause if you're still thinking. Okay, you should have put the less than symbol because here are a few ways to explain it. So 0.6 is the same as 3/5, and 3/5 is less than 4/5. So actually 4/5 is 1/5 bigger than 0.6. You could have made them both decimals, so 4/5 is the same as 0.8, and 0.8 is more than 0.6, because there's 8 in the tenths column. Okay, wonder how you got on. What about this one? Which symbol this time? Okay, I'm going to reveal the answer, so pause if you're still thinking. Okay, 3/4 is greater than 0.5. Okay, this is a common fraction to have on like measuring cylinders. Look at it. 0.5 is a half, it's 2/4. 3/4 is 0.75. So actually it's a quarter larger. Okay, that's my way of explaining it. And the decimal for 3/4 is 0.75. Here is, I think it's the final task for today. This is going to test your knowledge of equivalent decimals and fractions. So you may need to go back and find an earlier point in the video just to recap or remind yourself. If not, just go for it. Write them down, put the correct symbol in each of the circles. Okay, so you'll need to copy them onto your piece of paper. Pause the video and have a go. I'm going to reveal the answers. Okay, so I've put some workings on screen that I did. So 1/10 is less than 0.75 because the decimal is 0.1, so it's a lot lower. A half, this is something that a lot of people get confused. So some people would put equals here because they can see a 5 on both sides. Well, it's not, is it? Because we know that 1/5 is 0.2, whereas a half is 0.5. So this is like 30p more than 0.2. I hope you didn't get caught out. Okay. 0.8 is equal to 4/5. They're the same, aren't they? 8/10 is also equivalent. Okay, another one that people get caught out on, these are not the same. Okay, 1/4 is 0.25. So 0.4 is greater than 1/4. This is like 4/10. Okay, 4/10 is larger than 1/4. So don't get caught out, you need to remember that. 1/4 is 0.25. 3/4 is the same as 0.75. And a half, okay, another one that people get caught out on. So many people in school put equals here. A half is 0.5 as a decimal, and a half is larger than 0.2. Okay, this is like 5/10 versus 2/10. Okay, let me know how you got on. We will do some more activities tomorrow. Thank you very much for joining in.